Somebody described busting a nut as dumping a can of chowder into an industrial fan.
A can of chowder into an industrial fan. Well, okay. Well, let's unpack that a little bit. I don't. Okay, so if the chowder hits the fan at super high speed, it's going to be like a mist, right? So it's not if you're nutting mist,
it's a bunch of it.
it'd have to be a shitload for an industrial fan. You'd
It's like
basically have to have like a fire truck hose full of clam chowder and unload it in the damn, and maybe then. But I don't know. I really I haven't seen liquid hit a fan at high speed. Maybe that's
also
something to look
a
into.
gutting shark over a marble floor.
A what over a marble floor?
Gutting a shark.
Gutting a shark over a marble floor. Why?
It's from bloopers of Anchorman 2 when they were talking about how he pleasured himself to some Mrs. Butterworth syrup.
So if you gut a shark over a marble floor, what's the marble floor have to do with busting one though? I mean,
it was Will Ferrell, man. I don't
know. Do you remember Grandma's Boy?
Yeah, where he was jacking off to the.
It was like a Wonder Woman doll.
Laura Croft.
Yeah. He's like, I can't stop. I can't stop. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Big Beefin' Show.
Glad you're recording all this shit.
This is our hour of power, where we talk.
You can't just say hour of power. You gotta characterize it.
It's the hour of power, where we care about the topics people really fucking care about. The real shit.
John and Daniel not gonna be here. It's just me and you again.
It's a Big Beefin' Show, boy. Really haven't put a lot of work in the show, and it kind of shows. It's kind of fucking obvious. It's like it's just went downhill. Like it started moderate, and then it just we're just going along. You know, Daniel's gotten all ultra creative with his puppet show, and the shit's hilarious. I mean, it's fucking funny as hell. But it's just I don't know. We got to figure out a way to breathe life into it, I guess.
That's not breathing life into the show. That's him doing his own thing.
Did you have a chance to watch Joker yet?
No, I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, me and Brandon are going first thing in the morning. This one guy at work, I told him he saw it last night. I was like, don't tell me any spoilers. He's like, I won't, but it was an amazing movie. And I was like, well, that's all I need to know. Well,
with Joaquin Phoenix, it's hit or miss. You know, he had Gladiator. And how do you come and follow up Gladiator? It was such an epic movie. Mm-hmm. How do you keep that same standard, you know? I mean, Russell Crowe, he did American Gangster. He did a couple of Beautiful Mind, but you don't see, you know, Joaquin Phoenix, he did Signs. He did, what other movies has he done? Her. People had mixed feelings about Her because he was trying to make it with an artificial intelligence.
No, he wasn't trying. He did. I liked Blade Runner's approach to that better than Her. And Her, his AI basically found this lonely woman, and she convinced the woman to fall in love with her, and then she talked the woman into having sex with Joaquin, but with her voice over the woman's. And he was like, no, I can't fuck this lady and think of you. It's not going to work. And she was like, I'm sorry. I just tried to make you feel intimate. I tried to give you what you needed. And but in Blade Runner, it was the same principle, but the hologram actually assumed the body of the woman. Like she synced her body up to her. So it still looked like her. It was
it had a weird image blur where you could kind of see the android and then you can kind of see the AI. Yeah, it was strange, very strange scene. But Blade Runner 2049 is probably one of my favorite sci-fis to come out in the last 5-6 years.
And he was the droid too, right? That was the whole twist of the movie.
Yeah, he was well, they knew that from the beginning.
Oh, that's right. Harrison Ford, though, he was the android.
Well, people, I mean, like nobody's willing to set it in stone if he was a robot or not. people are saying, yeah, he's human, and people are saying, no, he's not human. And, you know, you've had directors say that he was, and then you've had Harrison Ford say that he isn't. And I don't know. It's just, it goes either way until somebody has an official, yeah, Harrison Ford was a Blade Runner skin job. You know, there's just, it's up to speculation. It's up to whatever you perceive. They had, you know, Edward James almost came back, and he was an old man in some retirement home. And they said that his little hint where he made the origami and said that he just wants to be left alone, that was like a hint that he's a robot and he doesn't want anybody to retire him. But really, he's, you know, some people say he's just a human, and he's got knowledge that the big corporation wants, and he wants to stay hidden from them because he wants his baby to have a life.
She was in that bubble.
Right, because of her autoimmune disease. She couldn't be out. Yeah.
Buckets of fun. Remember that little commercial?
You're a dumbass.
Mr. Bucket.
Comparing a kid's commercial of a toy to somebody living their life in seclusion and isolation.
Whee! Buckets of fun. You don't remember that stupid little thing? It's little Mr. Bucket.
I remember it, man.
He take the balls and throw it in the back of his bucket.
It's just an insensitive analogy.
What was the goal of Mr. Bucket?
There he is. It was to entertain kids. When Roger gets older, you'll know exactly what it was for. When you don't want to play with him and he wants to play, you get him some shitty ass toys like that.
You remember Mr. Bucket, John?
I always wanted a Mr. Bucket. Never got one. I always wanted a Mr. Bucket. I always wanted that little fucking scoop.
Of course, back in there. Remember him.
But,
why do y'all have all?
No. That's what it was. You had to scoop the balls into Mr. Bucket, and then he'd pop them out, like he'd spit them out.
You had to get all your colored balls in a bucket before you pop them out and say, "I win." You know. That's how it happened.
I win. And he spits them out at you real fast.
Yeah. Well, in all reality, that game would probably be complete in about 2 minutes.
What is your where's the worst game you hate to play? Do you hate playing Monopoly, Uno, Dominoes?
I don't like
your most hated game you hate playing?
I don't like the game Sorry. I don't like the game
Sorry. I can say that. Yeah.
Yeah, Sorry. We played it, Shane, me, you, Aunt Barbara, our cousin Jacob, and I think some other people played that game with us. And Barbara, I can just remember her saying "sorry" as she jumped me and set me all the way back.
Because in reality, you're not sorry.
No, she wasn't. She was just being funny in the moment. I was like, I got nothing out of this game. Nothing happened to me that I enjoy.
What was the other one you were going to say?
Monopoly, Operation. Just because the skill you need to play Operation and beat it is kind of a specific skill, and so you don't.
I don't have that technique to take those tweezers and go between a half-an-inch gap.
Sometimes the tweezers are shit. So no matter how good you are, you just can't win.
Monopoly. There's two ways to play Monopoly. The Monopoly that people play is if you start buying a certain piece of property, no one's allowed to buy the other property. And the other way is I can buy whatever property I land on. So now Aaron has one blue, I have one blue, Shane has one blue, but Aaron bought it first, so he's pissed that me and Shane bought the other blue, and then we don't want to sell him the blue, So
wait a second. So you're telling me you've actually played a version of Monopoly where if you land on any color, you now have all those colors. Nobody else can buy them. Only you can buy them.
You can no. I have never played it that way.
You get pissed when other people do, though. You get pissed when other people do it.
No one plays that way. When people say I've heard people do play that way, but I've never played anyone that says
that's the way a baby would fucking play. So you don't make him cry when he fucking realized the crushing oppression of capitalism.
So I played that game with a friend of mine. Well, we're kind of friends. We're more like just people that know each other. And he had his dentist there, and his dentist and him are tight. So I'm playing against them two, and I'm starting to kind of get ahead, and I'm thinking, well, I can buy this from him. He's like, well, I'm not going to sell it to you. I'll sell it to him before I sell it to you. And I was like, well, how am I going to fucking win then if you guys are already kind of teamed up against me? And that's how the game fucking ended, is the two of them joined up and fucking beat me. And Aaron ended up, no, not Nick, the dentist. The dentist ended up winning.
Yeah, the concept of side deals was new to me. The kid we went to school with, Justin Real, like when we were playing, he's like, "I'll buy that property from you," and I'm like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "No, I'll just buy it from you. You don't need it. I'll give you the money now. You need the money now? I'll give you the money now. Just give me the fucking property." And you know, he did it, and that's just changed. So the first time I played with Sarah, and we had like a big game going, it's me, Sarah, and some other people. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to buy that property from you," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I'll give you $500. You give me the property. You need the money. You get to stay in the game. Give me the property." And they're like, "Okay, I guess." And Sarah's like, "You can't do that." And I was like, "Watch, I just did."
You made it sound like you're a bully. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and relieve you of that property. I want to give you money for it. But I want you. No, you don't need it. You don't want it. Give it to me.
Well, it's more like they're in this. They need the money, right? I mean, they're in jail, or their property, they can't afford the taxes or whatever, and they're about to lose the game. I'll give them the money, but they're going to have to give up some of their property. It's a fair deal. They still have a chance to get back in the game. If they roll right, they can get back in.
John, what you put in front of the screen a second ago? What was that?
My little
Lego helicopter.
Lego helicopter Joker.
Oh yeah.
Y'all not doing Monopoly the right way. Me, I do Monopoly. Hey, you really want this property? I'll tell you what. I give you this property, but every time I land on any of these colors, I don't get to pay you.
Yeah, no, that's
that's the only way you get this property.
That's a good deal. You just have to make sure the bankers is aware of that.
See, look at Aaron.
I've never known anybody to play that way. I've never known that.
We make deals, all the deals.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, but if you're playing the long game, it's not a good deal because at some point you're going to fucking land on it, and you really want people to be fucked whenever they land on those things.
Yeah,
it's a good strategy if you can get somebody to fall for it early on. But in the long game,
you need that. You really want that property to build them hotels. Well, if I land on those 3 hotels, I don't want to get taxed any.
You guys got toys fucking everywhere, so I'm gonna drop my little bit of news. Bandai's gonna be putting some new toys out this weekend that you can buy, but there's only 9,000 of them being made, so you gotta hurry up.
What are
the Warhammer Space Marines?
Oh
yeah,
shit! It's not coming out this weekend.
It's not just the regular Space Marines; it's the new Space Marines. They're called Primaris. The Primaris Space Marines. They're bigger. They're bolder, tougher, bigger, and buffer than the regular Space Marine. I only said it because I knew Shane was going to fucking say it. That's why I had to beat him to it. So, but yeah, they're an upgraded version of the standard Space Marine, which the Space Marine is already like the Master Chief, and this is an even bigger version of that.
So, Shane, what's the schematics on that? How big is that going to be?
I was trying to look at it to see if anybody's seen one yet.
Huh. This week, where at? Who's selling them? Is it for the con? Is it the Comic Con exclusive?
Bandai selling them online.
Oh, on Bandai online. Okay, let's say we ain't gonna fucking see it. The Comic Con exclusive, fucking expensive Comic Con.
But like I said, man, they're only making 9,000. I'm gonna do my damnedest to get one.
Man,
is it a New York Comic Con thing?
They're doing a lot of things with the New York Comic Con. A lot of exclusives. The Bandai thing, I don't know. Man, good luck. The guy will probably drop his whole bank account just to get him to make a damn profit, man. Guarantee. I'm sure they're limited, like 5 per customer.
I'm not paying $200 or $300 for a fucking piece of plastic, but
you'd be surprised people pay that much money for a limited edition.
Yeah, Shane. Yep.
Man.
How much was Broly when you got it from Japan?
Which one?
How much was Broly when you got it from Japan?
120. 120.
What was anyways, what was your now Shane? What board game do you hate, real quick?
Board game?
Oh, any game. What game do you hate?
I'm not a fan of poker.
You don't like poker?
Yeah.
You love that song though. You got nowhere.
That's that ass song.
Nowhere to phone.
Yeah, he likes it because it's fucking annoying. Shane likes to bug people. If you ever noticed, John.
Oh, when to hold them. Nowhere to fold them.
Shane is the anti-person. Anything that normal people find joy in, Shane finds annoying.
When you're sitting at the table, there'll be
at the poker table, see the song. Like, okay, we get it. We get it. You gotta know when to hold them. Is it a whole time? That's all the whole time you're playing poker.
Like I said, Shane is the anti-person. He finds all things annoying and aggravating to be joyful.
What else, Shane? Poker. What else? Need a board game. What board game? Maybe.
Okay, board game. I do like Monopoly.
I don't like bowling
Like bowling? Really?
because I suck at it.
Like the sport bowling.
I don't like to bowl.
Strike.
Oh. Well, we all suck at bowling. You know who's good at bowling? Josh.
Really?
Josh
You know who else is good at bowling? Ryan Harrison. He can bowl. He can bowl a perfect game.
Board game. What board game don't I like? I don't really care.
Like darts.
Huh?
I don't like throwing darts.
I think darts is fun. I like throwing darts. I like darts.
I can't get it to stick in there.
Yeah. Well, you got to throw it hard. You got to put some ass into it.
What's that game, Shane? Apple shoots, shooting apples.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ladders.
Huh? Shooting ladders, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like apples to apples either.
Oh shit, man! I'm trying to think of a game. I just was like, this sucks.
That game with the mousetrap. Mousetrap. There.
Yeah. Mousetrap was a big letdown. Mousetrap was way oversold. Like that, way more hyped up.
It's any action. It's fun. It's catching. It's mousetrap.
And you go through the problem to set up that little fucking thing, and it sucks. You're like, oh, this shit
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Fucking sucky.
Candyland or whatever that candy fucking board game was.
Candyland's easy. Just draw the color, move the two colors, draw another color, move two colors. You might see the Licorice Man, Mrs. Tinsel, or Carmen.
John, how the fuck you know all this?
I play Candyland.
Oh, I know it. I don't really care for the Settlers of Catan.
I tried that. Yeah, I wasn't very good at it.
That's that board game that they used to play over at Belmead, where it's like you got wood, you got road.
Catan?
Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. That was a pretty good game. That was pretty good.
I tried it. I wasn't very good at it. And then that railroad one where you got to build trains and shit, ticket to ride. I tried that, and I'm not very good at it either.
Now that Twilight Imperium game I played with Cliff that lasted fucking 8 hours. Now that was some shit. But that game, strategy was important, but so was rolling the dice. Like if you were a good dice roller, you could fucking do some damage.
Well, I mean, how do you have dice rolling skill? Because it's so random.
Yeah. That's the problem. Well, the fairest way to do it is to eliminate the human, get one of those little dice popper thingies where you just pop it, and it rolls the dice on its own.
Then it becomes like how much pressure you put with your finger on it. You just
get a digital dice. Just put it on your phone. Digital dice. Go with that.
I was want to learn how to shoot dice. I always wanted to learn that. How to shoot dice.
There's
what?
You talking about craps?
Yeah.
No, he's talking about that hood game where you roll dice on the ground, and if you roll certain numbers, you win money, and if you don't, you win.
That's craps. That's craps.
He's talking about doing it on the concrete where they put their money on the ground.
It's still the same game, right? Casino? Still the same game?
Yeah. I went to the casino one time with Mr. Black, and he was like fucking ruling the craps table. I think he brought in like $1,500.
Shit.
And there was this guy. The reason why he brought in so much, so it wasn't just his winnings. There was other people at the table winning because they were betting on him, like that he would do it, and he was doing it. So people were throwing him a little bit of their share because he was rolling the dice. Well, this one guy, I remember him sitting there drinking, and he's just looking at pissed, and he's like, he can't roll good for all night long, so he kept betting against him, and he kept fucking losing money, and he's like, he's got to lose at some point. There's no way he can win this much, and Mr. Black kept on fucking winning.
That's an addict right there. He has a gambling problem.
Mr. Black, I guess one of the numbers was purple, and he was like, or one of the colors was purple, and he's like, Shane, what's the Mexican word for purple? And I said verde, which is the Mexican word for green. So this fool starts shouting out, verde, verde, like all fucking night long. Because that's where he's wanting to get it. And nobody else got the joke but me, but it was fucking well worth it. Like screaming out verde.
That's Shane's whole point is that he'll make you look like a dumbass, but he'll be the only one that knows it. Yes, I did that.
Maybe one of these days I'll finally go to the table and go, give me $100.
You never been gambling, John?
Huh?
You never ever been gambling?
I've been to the casino. I played the slot machine. I've never been in the tables yet. I never tried the tables out. So I want to do it one day. I'm gonna walk up there and be like, give me $100 on red. Sir, you can't do that. All right. You can just jump in.
Yeah, my dumb ass, that's the problem. Like, my approach to gambling is I don't want to do it for very long. So if I got money that this is my gambling money, I'm gonna go put it all on red and let it roll.
Just see what happens. I was gambling in Mississippi and I won a flush, but the rules were new to me, so I didn't realize I had a flush until the dealer saw it. It was like, oh, you could have bet big and won a lot of money right there. I mean, you only won like $200, but I'll talk to my guy and see if I'll give it to you. And they gave it to me because I was a dumbass. Oh, damn it, dude! I could have had like $1,000 on that hand.
So you went not knowing how to do it?
It was a new game, and it was kind of like what is it? 5-card draw where you can mix and match. But the cards on the table are what you use, and then you use cards in your hand, and they flip some shit over, and it was like, I don't know this game.
It's like I always said, you got to know when to hold them.
No, when to hold them. Sounds like a...
Well, I won $200 and walked off, and then I spent it on slots and lost. Well, my neighbor, he goes gambling pretty regular. He said he's won $5,000 playing slots.
Yeah, that time I went with Mr. Black was when I was in college. I was broke as fuck. And I went to the casino with him. I didn't have no money. I mean, when I'm telling you guys, I didn't bring any money with me. Like, I had no money, no cash. And Mr. Black's dad was there. I guess he was like, hey, Shane, here's $5, go. And I ended up taking that $5 and turned it into $85 by the time the night was over.
Hell yeah.
So I went the next morning, I went and got a big old fucking breakfast at Waffle House.
Put some groceries in. Got some beer.
Said, thanks, Mr. Black.
Yeah, he was kind of pissed because the first game I played, I won big. And so I went from $5 to $20. And I was like, well, I'm cashing out. And he's like, I'm going to go tell my dad, you just played one game? And I'm like, well, fuck, man, I made money. Let me win. And he's like, no, that ain't right. You got to play more than that. And I was like, well, shit. So I kept playing, and I lost a little bit, but then I started winning. So,
he wouldn't have complained if you won like $1,000 and you gave some of that back.
Oh, he got Hawkman, new 52 Hawkman. Hawkman. His feathers. You need to straighten that feather out.
Hawkman.
So, put a blow dryer on it and straighten it out.
What was that?
Yeah, turn it up as hot as you can get it. Get it as hot as you can.
Were those people ripping in Flash Gordon, the Hawkman people? Was that a ripoff of Hawkman?
I think Hawkman was actually a ripoff of them.
Oh.
DC ripped off a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, actually, so Hawkman, the guy, he was a big Flash Gordon fan, and at that time in the 40s and 30s, like people were making fucking superheroes like crazy. Everybody was trying to make the next Superman.
Rip off Thanos?
That was so DC created Darkseid, and then Thanos was a ripoff of Darkseid.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, Darkseid came first. It's just like Deathstroke came first before Deadpool, but more people know who Deadpool is than they know Deathstroke, and more people know who Thanos is instead of Darkseid.
Deathstroke doesn't have a sense of humor. That's what Deadpool is.
Oh.
Deadpool has a sense of humor. Wasn't he made by a guy in Canada?
Rob Liefeld. He lives in Texas now, I think.
But he's Canadian, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
The Deadpool is a Canadian. Go figure. Is it right? Shane, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine, Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah. Liefeld made him back in the 90s. I think it was 91. And at first, he was serious like Deathstroke. He didn't have the sense of humor. That didn't come until like later, early 2000s, when he started being funny.
I forgot about that. At first, he was all like badass.
Yeah, it's like a stone cold assassin. Like, he just show up and fucking kill your ass. But then he started breaking the fourth wall and started getting funny. And
I got soda dryer.
And then, of course, the fact that he got a rated R movie, the kids fucking love him now because, because they're not allowed to watch it, so that makes them want to watch it more. Oh, it's got a little picture of the Joker there in the background.
Who? Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing the Joker thing too.
I don't know what the. You excited about the Joker? You excited about it?
Yeah, I'm going with my cousin in the morning. Like I said, I ain't hung out with the dude in years, so I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if he's going to want to do something afterwards. It's like, man, I got to go grocery shopping, and I need to go before it gets too fucking busy because I'm not waiting in line. And in fact, what I may do when I wake up in the morning, I may just go to the damn store then, so I don't have to fuck with it.
That's what I would do. Just go and get it over with right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Same way with grocery shopping.
I want to get in the morning when the morning crew's there. They're all happy. They're pumped. They're ready to be at work. You know, before retail fucking grinds their soul away. The morning people. I mean, those are people that are they're there for work. They want to do their jobs. But then by the end of the day, you know, they don't fucking care anymore. The second shift people and the nighttime people, they don't give a fuck. They walk in the door not giving a shit. They have no pep, and that's why the turnover rate's so damn high for that position. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I didn't like working overnight. I didn't like working overnight. When I worked overnight, man, I didn't like it at all. My skin got all pale from not seeing the sun, and health got all bad. You know,
there was one thing, we were doing inventory, and they said, "Hey, we need you to, a couple nights this week. You need to work overnight." And I was like, "Okay." I got my manager. I was like, "Look, they want me to work tonight." And he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, you got me scheduled tomorrow." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll change it." I was like, "No. Just keep me on the schedule." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I'm just going to keep working. I'm just going to stay up here for 24 hours straight. Knock out half of my pay week." I did. Worked a 24-hour fucking shift.
God dang, Shay.
One of the guys I used to work with did that. He went home for an hour for lunch, but he came in at 5 one morning, left at 6 the next day.
Yeah, I didn't even take lunch. I just worked all the way through it. I was like, well, I told him, I was like, "Hey man, this is I've hit 24 hours this week. I'm almost done."
nothing more for me to do around here.
Yeah. So
the new Star Wars figures came out today.
Yeah, Force Friday.
Yeah, the new one.
Anything good? Were there any good ones?
There's a red storm. No, he's called a Sith Trooper, which basically is just a red stormtrooper. There's a sinister sister. I think they called her adequate sister. I can't remember what that one is either. It's pretty dumb too. Another Rey, another Darth, another Kylo Ren. The new I can't remember the guy's name. He's the new Padawan for the new Star Wars game coming out soon. But so really maybe in a off-world Jawa, which is basically a Jawa, just gray, a gray Jawa. So
what do y'all think about the whole impeachment process against President Trump?
I mean, let's see where let's see what if corn flips.
It ain't gonna fucking happen. It's too close to the election. They're not gonna fucking do it. All they need to do is just beat him in the election. And he's dug himself into enough fucking holes where, you know.
He might still fucking win by default. Joe Biden just had a heart attack, you know.
Yeah, if the Dems don't get their shit together, if they don't put Bernie Sanders in there, or I personally like Andrew Yang the best, but I think the only real chance they have.
Money he wants to give everybody. That's why you like it.
Well, yeah, I'm not a fucking dumbass. Who doesn't want $1,500 a month?
That's gonna be so bad.
No, it won't. I'm gonna have fucking $1,500 extra a month. I do whatever the fuck I want to do with it. I can save up for my electric car. I can pay back some student loan money. That's a fucking win-win.
Well, to compensate for that, market prices are gonna go up because they know that people have the disposable income. So your cost of living is going to remain the same.
That's not economics, son. That's not how economics works.
That's corporate greed. That's corporate greed.
That's not how it works, man.
Yeah. Okay. Tell that to the people in Mississippi who tried this experiment and failed miserably.
Mississippi.
That's Nora talking. That ain't me.
The Warhammer figure 7 inches tall. He's pretty badass. They're doing an Ultramarine first. Primaris Intercessor.
Is that your hookup?
I gotta give you one.
It's 8 inches tall. It has 50 points of articulation and a bolt rifle. 50 points of articulation, John. 50.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, the average Marvel Legends like 25. This thing's got 50.
What's the retail price on that bad boy?
Doesn't say what the price is.
There's an article out there that will tell you. You got to find it.
I would guess at least probably $50, $60.
Think so?
Yeah, easy. It's nice. But that's the only thing is it's a nice Ultramarine, so he's not all fucking battle damaged and beat up.
You don't like battle damage?
They're making 9,000 of them, so I imagine the price is going to be kind of high.
It's all 9,000.
Then you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait until their next production of models, because I have a feeling that they're not trying to put all their eggs in this basket. They're trying to just feel out the market to see how much money is there for making these action figures, which personally, figurines are great and they're awesome, but I'm not going to take the time to buy and paint those unless it's the giant fucking robots that they have.
Yeah,
then I'll but and those are expensive.
And the paint app on this one's pretty nice. I'm wondering how it compares to my StarCraft Space Marine I have. I'm wondering how it looks next to that one.
To size, you got to pull the old ruler out.
That StarCraft Space Marine's fucking huge.
Yeah. My phone's about to fucking die.
That's not my problem.
Damn it. Dang it.
Plug that shit in.
We had a date night tonight, so.
Where'd y'all go?
We went to Chucky Cheese.
Now Daniel hasn't showed up.
Hold up. How was Chucky Cheese date night?
Well, we had to take the boy with us, so.
Well, that's not a fucking date. That's baby night.
That's going out. It's just going out. That's what it is.
If y'all had went to, did y'all do anything, or you just got to eat?
Well, no, we went out. We went to Chucky Cheese, and we went to eat at Panda Express.
Wait, hold up. What do you do at Chucky Cheese?
Play games.
So that's all y'all did was play games?
Yeah, play games.
If all y'all did at Chucky Cheese was play games, then it could count as a date night.
What? No. Did she watch you play games, or did you both play games?
We all played games.
They got games for everybody to play at Chucky Cheese.
We all played games. The funny thing about it is that there's one kid's gonna get mad because we won over 800 tickets, and we were leaving, and we saw these stacks of those little printout papers. Like, hey, some kid left his his little probably 6 or 7 on there. We pick one up, and 700, 100 some odd one. Like, well, guess we won $1,500 tickets.
So you took those kids' tickets?
Yeah, we don't know who they belong to. We looked around. Hey, take it.
Shane,
what if they have to go use the bathroom or something? What if they had to go take a shit or something?
This is a guy who doesn't tip. You think he gives a fuck about a kid leaving his fucking tickets?
Well, how long did y'all wait before you cashed them in?
No, we just found a slip. They were cashed in.
5 minutes.
We'll do. Turn to lost and found, Come on.
I told you.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Daniel's doing something new. Daniel did a quick end to the Adventures of John, but Daniel seems pretty excited, but he's trying to plan something else out.
I didn't know that the cop was me.
That was
a plot twist for me. I was like, oh shit, yeah. That's why he's so fucking angry.
But Daniel is excited. He says, I ended it quickly. I'm excited. I'm not doing something else. I'm very excited. He sounds excited. So wherever the next one is, he's probably going to do, But the funny thing about Daniel's last one is, oh, you have my teeth out. You clearly see Daniel's hand throwing the teeth on the ground.
Yeah, there was one where he started laughing after he threw the puppet down. He was like, like you hear it real quick.
That's what makes this shit funny, though. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, I just like how over the top the fucking characters are. Like how they're caricatures, they're just so zany. That's my favorite.
That part to get something new going. That's what he needed. And y'all gave it to him. Or I'd rather Michael gave it to him.
But John, oh my God. Dale does it, yeah.
Speaking of, when are we going to get a guest on for Friday? When are we going to do that? I could have fucking called up Matthew and had him on tonight.
No.
I like that Shane dodged a stick. Oh, whoa. Aha, you missed. Like that. How do you do that? They takes that, throw a stick at it.
Yeah. I mean, he's not doing super high production values. I mean,
he went at History X on me, though. Put your face right there. God dang.
So it didn't explain though how he found him though, right? Like he didn't. It just said a year later he fucking trailed him down, I guess, and beat his ass, knocked his teeth out.
I guess that's the in between stores. I think Dale's got to work on. Then I don't know.
Where'd he get those little teeth from? Where were those teeth?
He said he ordered those offline.
That's fucking hardcore, man. when your plot line requires for teeth, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't have any fucking teeth. Let me order some."
He ordered some fake teeth. Yeah, he ordered
Yes,
those.
Michael for some of his.
I mean, he could have done like some crappy little plastic teeth or something, or drawn them.
Dan wanted real fake teeth.
Yeah,
Fake teeth.
He wanted real fake teeth.
yeah, I guess so.
He didn't want that. Like you said, he could have took some paper and
Fake
folded
teeth.
it and painted like tan, spray painted, and there teeth. There you go. No.
The good thing is, the creative juices are flowing. Crank Anchors is back, so the timing's good. They just had a puppet movie last year. It's good to be in the beginning part of it. But I think he wants to get to the next level. Like his storylines are fine. And this is just my one criticism, he's got to get those production values up. Like he really needs like it's the lighting's okay, but he needs backdrops. And he probably could use a separate puppeteer, like not just himself, because he's recording it and he's handling the puppets at the same fucking time. So really need to have somebody else doing one of those jobs.
Well, John, you gonna step up? You gonna get involved? Make it a Brothers Grimm production?
If he wants me to drive down there just to help him make a puppet show, yeah, but it's gonna be like Power Rangers. We'll knock out 5-6 episodes in one day. Just knock them out like that.
What he's doing right though is that it's short. They're only like a minute, but they're fucking shocking. Like you don't expect these puppets to say what he says, and that's what makes it hilarious because it's everything that he does is ironic. Like you don't see it coming.
There's no build up to it. It just happens. Like what the fuck?
Like you just see my character coming to the play, and he's like, "You fucking cocksucker," and it's like that came from nowhere. Like, son of a bitch. Like that. Okay.
I didn't see the face that like there's I bought fake teeth. How you gonna work that in there? Oh shit! You put some History X shit in there. Put your face on that. Like, God damn it, Daniel. I didn't see that shit coming.
Yeah, it's hardcore, man. He's going to the dark side.
That is like a wicked twist right there. Like Shane, man, pretty sure the detective won't be on the force after this. Pretty sure
if you could take Daniel's story and his voice work, and you could take his designs and make it like a CGI cartoon, the shit would be fucking gold. Like the internet would be lit with John Tell clips. Like we knew somebody that was into computer programming and they could make the little characters. Oh yeah, we'd be making bank. Anyways, it's his project.
Oh man.
But, yeah, pretty good. Good stuff. I just haven't had that much. Like me and Aaron the other night, John, we're talking. Let me tell you about this idea. I want to pitch it to you real quick.
Okay.
So, because we're working on the horror movie, that's fine. We'll work on it. But me and Aaron came up with the idea of we're going to do like a shitty documentary style, but it's going to be called Backyard Wrestling League.
Okay.
We're going to follow like somebody who like has dreams to be a wrestler, but he sucks and he's small, he's inadequate, he can't fucking do it. He's just not really athletic. So, but he wants to get in, so he tries and he joins a backyard wrestling league, which it's like low rent, like a bunch of people show up to somebody's backyard and then they have matches like in the dirt and shit. And we're thinking about doing that, like having and then somebody watching it like it's a documentary, like and the guys
is it gonna be like Daniel? It's just like nothing makes sense. It's just funny, like I know I can't do
like,
this.
He'll get me to be like, I'm gonna kick your ass, you motherfucker, and like it'd be like shut the fuck up, and like somebody hits him over the back with a fucking one of those fluorescent lights.
I'm thinking.
Like, and like,
I just had a scene come to mind where they're like in a tire pit or some sort of arena, and somebody gets hip tossed onto the ground, and like he throws the shit out of him, and he lands on his back and goes ah, and like the camera shoots out real far as he's laying there and it comes back to him.
It's going to be a lot of the comedy is going to be like the pain, like we'll have over the top zany intros, like like, I'm going to take that bastard's head and shove it straight up my ass, you son of a bitch. Like, but then there'll be like a little kid, like we'll have like Nico or Logan standing right there being like, I don't think I'm supposed to be listening to this. And
You want to get Nico or Logan around a bunch of grown-ass men doing this.
Well, we're going to be the audience. We got to have an audience watching the Backyard Wrestling League.
It's got to be some strangers, kids. It can't be our relatives because our relatives live.
You could do that last scene as a real, like, we actually got a backyard wrestling. You can get friends, family, maybe get some random people. Like, all right, we're just doing this, guys. Come watch and laugh, have fun, you know.
We thought about like you and Daniel, y'all are like a tag team, and like you fucking come out there like the Bushwhackers or some shit, and you're like fucking in the music. Like, we'll get like a smoke machine and spray like smoke and confetti.
No, we hold a smoke machine.
It's funny is Jacob.
Yeah, you gotta hold your own while you're going out there.
Jacob's boy Ethan is pretty athletic. He could just like run in and drop kick somebody. You suck. It's really hard.
The funniest one be saying is me and Dale, you pan to us, and me and Dale run out there, put our own smoke machines down, and plug them in. They go in the back, and then come out. That would be hilarious. They got to plug up their own equipment before they come out.
I don't want like one match to erupt into chaos where everybody in the fucking yard just starts beating the shit out of each other, like where the fans had enough and they fucking get on it. Or like a fan stands up and like, hey, you prick, I'll kick your ass. And the wrestler, like, he can't back down, but it looks like somebody that could kick his ass. And he's like, shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, come on then. And then the owner of the property steps out like, hey, go get the fuck out of here. I'm calling the cops.
Get off my property.
Starts throwing shit out. Get out of here. Get out. Bunch of bums. Get a real job.
Yeah, that's the only problem is, can't do it where we got neighbors that are like, wouldn't like loud noises and cussing and yelling and shit.
You know where you could do it? My mom's house.
Yeah, Aaron was saying we go down to the country and do it.
Well, yeah. It's back there. They don't care if we mess up something in the back. There's even a little lake back. A little.
Got to get in touch with our Uncle Randy, Shane. Uncle Randy. He's got that big piece of property right next to his house.
Want us out there beating the shit out of each other, getting hurt.
He is. He's going to be sitting there cutting up, man. He's going to think it's funny.
Got to sign a waiver. That's all it is, Shane. Everyone's got to sign a waiver.
Well, see this old man sitting under his porch, just pointing and laughing.
So Josh actually was in a backyard wrestling league when he was in high school, and he got into college. And there's actually some video. I got a video of it. I could send to y'all, but he actually was in a league, and they were actually doing it. So some of those old guys were fucking around saying, we're going to get back together. We're going to do it again. It's the rematch of the century. But, everybody's, in their 30s now. So
I can still do it. Just stretch it out.
No, they got lives, John. They got jobs and kids, and they can't.
This isn't not even a real fucking league. It's a movie about
a movie. Yeah, the movie. No, I ain't talking about fucking new friend. A movie. I'll give you stretch out that week, and a movie I can do. Movie. Ain't no damn.
We're not really trying to do any moves. We'll stage it to where it looks like we did the move, but we really didn't.
So like off a box and do the fake landing.
Yeah, like you just jump in the air and you're like, ah, and then you on the ground the next second, you're like, ah, and like.
No, I have a scene where somebody gets hip tossed and they hurt their back, and I kind of want that to be.
Well, you can roll with the hip toss. Like as long as you land on the right spot on your back, it's fine. You won't hurt yourself. You just got to know how to do it. So
what I'm thinking of is this guy said that he wanted to see if Ronda Rousey was as good as she said she was, and she's a judo fighter, so she knows how to do hip tosses. And he's like, okay, we're gonna see if it's really about what everybody says it's about. And so she did a hip toss on him, and he couldn't get up for like 5 minutes.
That's what happened to me at judo. That was the move that took me out.
He didn't bust his shoulder. She just hit him so hard in his gut that he just couldn't move.
Oh no! When the guy got me, I've seen Rousey throw one before. She's got perfect form, but this guy threw me over his, did his hip toss thing, and I landed straight on my shoulder. I just landed right here, like all shoulder, and just fucking. I couldn't move. I couldn't lift my arm up after that. It just hurt so damn bad.
All right, guys, I gotta go. My phone's about to die. My 5%. It's gonna die.
Well, why don't you just stay on until it drops out?
Just wait, John. Just wait.
So it's fine if it drops out dead. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll know what happened when it fucking drops.
Yeah, okay. You're fine. You gotta go.
I had another topic I was gonna take. Oh, that's what it was. Real quick. I don't know how long. What was your favorite? Who's your favorite supervillain?
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke is favorite?
Yeah.
Aaron?
I gotta think on that one, man, because there's a lot.
You know, I'm pushing more towards. I'll explain it more tomorrow. Lex Luthor. I'm thinking like Lex Luthor is misunderstood. You know,
Yeah.
I read his bio. You learn a little more about him. Like, man, this guy's just, he just wants to be number one, and he's trying to do it.
But
I
then a
guess
god shows up and he has no choice. No choice.
yeah, So really, who, Superman comes along, steals his thunder. And we think about it, he does a lot of great things. They say he's a great engineer. He can reverse engineer. He's one of the smartest people on the planet. He made he made like top three most best villains in IGN, and he was like top 8 on the Marvels list, and
Yeah, he stands the test of time. I mean, that's a classic one. Aaron, you got one that you like? Venom?
Are you mean specifically from like comics and cartoons?
It could be anybody, I guess.
Anybody from anything ever. The first one that comes to mind is Ultron from Avengers, Age of Ultron. I thought he was probably the best supervillain. It just sucked to me that they killed him so fast, And of course, their supervillains only last for one movie, except Thanos, because Thanos is supposed to be there throughout every step of the way. But I really, Ultron has come back like 3 times in the comics, maybe 4. And so it was a bummer to me to see him just get wiped out straight out the gate. It was like, come on, man.
I wonder if they're going to stay true to Thanos being the love interest of Death, and Death just brings
them back. They threw that
out
when they made it about the balance. There was a discussion about that. Like initially, when he was approached by one of his people and they said to do this is to court Death, and he smiled real big. That was the idea that, yes, he's trying to find Death. But then, shortly after that, they decided to go with I'm methodical and I'm committed to this ideology of balance in the universe.
Mm-hmm. I like how do you bring them back? You just got dusted. How do you bring them back?
Can't.
Well, you can. He's got to get all the Infinity Stones back together and do it back again. But shit, who's going to do that?
Once it's done, it can be undone.
It can be undone. Endgame's proved it. You can undo it.
Oh, they didn't destroy the stones at the end. That's right.
Yeah, they went back and got the original stone. So you can get undusted. It's just shit. You're going to be partially dead when you do it. Apparently, it just takes that much out of you. Hell, look at Thanos.
Yeah, unless you're the Hulk.
And I didn't know his skin was like diamond-like skin, like almost impenetrable. Like you had to beat on him, like the Avengers did, to finally scratch him. Scratch him.
Yeah. I read one issue of the Avengers where they were fighting Ultron, and what he did, he was making copies of himself out of adamantium, and some of them had vibranium. It was like a mixture, and he built like 50 of them. And so like they're just fighting them, and like so at the end of it, like their costumes are all fucked up. Thor's like his arms are ripped out of his sleeves, like his arms are fucking bulging, and like his helmet's been cracked in half, and like Captain America's all fucked up, and Iron Man's suit's all jacked up, and they killed them all. And then finally the last confrontation with Ultron, and like Thor's standing there, and he's fucking jacked. I mean, just huge, big, thick muscles, and he's like, Ultron, we would have words with thee. And just like everything was in bold and shit. It's really fucking cool.
I gotta read that one. I gotta find that one. I gotta see that one. Which one was that one? What
It came out like around like 2000.
Shit. I was also really big on Mr. Sinister. He's pretty cool.
I was wanting him to be cooler, but they said that they retuned his character, make him more badass. But I thought he was okay. Magneto I thought was okay too. Just angry guy, power of magnetism. Not much for Apocalypse.
Carnage. Carnage was badass.
Who?
Carnage.
That was pretty good.
He's supposed to be in the next movie.
Yeah, with Woody Harrelson.
They're gonna go Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson as him. As Carnage.
Yeah. At the end of Venom, that's who it was.
I had to go and roll with it. I'm like, they might get somebody else. But you ever played Five Nights at Freddy? You ever played that game?
Yeah, I like it.
You played? Did you play all of them?
I've only played the first one. I have the first one.
I guess another Predator I have to throw out there is another villain is the Predator. Predator's just a fucking cool ass alien.
They should have kept. Well, there's nothing wrong with the backstories they gave them, but some of them like they start oh they're like two different species now, and now
It
they have
gets
fucking aliens. The
Yeah.
exomorphs like they're fucking dogs now, and
Right. I wish that Hollywood would get a canon approach and have it set in stone, like for the cinematic universe. Because cinematics and comics don't go hand in hand.
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I see the image you just shared. It looks kind of.
Yeah. Can people see that too, Shane? When
Well, maybe.
Find out.
On next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I like Frieza.
Frieza's a good character.
I like his voice.
Also
His voice
Huh?
His voice was awful. I hated his voice. Well, now that we're on Dragon Ball Z, Broly's probably one of my favorite villains ever.
Well, he's changed though. He's not a villain anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, back when he first showed up and he was just all powerful, kicking everybody's fucking ass.
Then he was a villain, and that one he was. But this one,
I like how they can still step it up every time. Here's what's his brother's name? Bardock. Here's Bardock.
No, that was Raditz.
Here's Raditz.
There's Bardock too.
And then he goes Frieza. Fuck Frieza. Here's the androids. Fuck androids. Here's Majin Buu. Fuck Majin Buu. Here's Broly. Who's at the Majin Buu?
Janemba.
No, after Majin Buu was the when the gods showed up.
Cell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Cell was before Majin Buu.
The androids, and then Cell, then Majin Buu, and Haniba. Haniba was next.
I mean, like they keep stepping it up. God dang. Who's the strongest? They keep stepping it up.
Jiren.
Yeah, Jiren's the strongest.
Man.
Jiren was so powerful. He became a destruction god. No, he didn't become a destruction god. He was more powerful than the destruction god. But yeah, Jiren kicked all their fucking asses. Like they didn't stand a chance.
I like Jiren. I just wish he looked a little different.
I like the look. I thought it was cool.
Icon Piccolo, that ass.
Yeah, I want a little more meat on him. But like, he's okay. But,
yeah.
Piccolo was cool back when he was a bad, but he stopped. He lost his badass powers in like season 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of made a little bit of a comeback working with Gohan, but not enough to be like on.
He's still in the shadows though. Like, I used to be the strongest. Yep.
Yeah, there was one. I can remember in the Cell saga where like, Vegeta's over there crying and shit, and Piccolo like picks him up by the throat, and he's like, you stay here and be a coward. The warriors are going to go fight, and he just threw Vegeta off to the side. And then you fast forward to the tournament, the first tournament, and like Vegeta's standing there, and he tells Piccolo, he's like, "Hey, you're gonna forfeit this match." And Piccolo's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Just forfeit it." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Damn, Piccolo, you lost your nuts, son." And he forfeited because Vegeta wanted to fight the guy, and he didn't want Piccolo hurting himself. I guess I don't know.
And poor old Krillin. Krillin just,
Well, the thing about Dragon Ball Z is that all of his friends are initially his enemies. Like, Tien was his first villain, except for Krillin and Yamcha, but everybody else. So Tien was his first villain, then Piccolo, then Raditz, but the Raditz died. But then Vegeta, that ends up being like his number one guy. Cell died, so he didn't end up being a friend, but Buu became one of their teammates, and then at the very end, Frieza did. So the androids did, Frieza did. They all ended up becoming friends.
But I think Krillin got off on a good note. He married Android 17.
Yeah, but he was also the first person eliminated from that tournament.
I don't give a shit. Gets to go home to his wife and kid. I don't know how that worked out, but who cares?
Yeah,
he don't care. He's a home dad now. Krillin don't care. Shit, he don't give a shit at all. Is that it from the Android series? 16, 17, that was it, right?
They come back at the tournament. They're in the tournament.
All 4 of them?
No, just 17 and 18. The boy and the girl.
What did the boy? What's he been doing? I never caught up.
So at one point, I think after the Majin Buu saga, they wished everybody back to life or something like that, and he was one of the ones that came back. Mm-hmm. Even though he's an android, he's still considered life. And he started a family, and he's a park ranger at this island out in the ocean. Then there's like a bunch of endangered species, and he's the park ranger there.
I like the Android series. I like that one. Those guys didn't give a fuck.
They showed up and were destroying the cities and everything.
Yeah.
And then Trunks came down and fucked them all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Gohan trying to fight with one fucking arm. God dang, man.
Well, and the power levels sometimes are confusing because, Goku and Vegeta ended up attending this God mode, like Super Saiyan Blue, but it was Trunks that beat Goku Black or Goku Rose with the pink hair. They couldn't, but Trunks could.
But
it doesn't make any sense.
I'm sure someone would look into it. I'm sure someone broke it down. Like, well, you look at it. Well, you can't because Goku is all Saiyan. Gohan is not all Saiyan. So,
Saiyan yeah.
Vegeta and Goku are all Saiyan, pure bloods. Gohan's not, so I can see where the conflict might be.
Yeah, but at one point Gohan was stronger than them because his anger, his emotions, made him stronger because he had human emotions, and that mixed with the Saiyan blood. But then they just kind of abandoned that, and like he became a nerd, not emotional anymore. But Trunks was, so maybe that's where it comes from. Maybe Trunks still had that in him, and that's why.
Trunks, same way with Trunks. Trunks became stronger too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be some of it.
I was really bummed when they started doing different dubs for the anime. They switched up the voices. It got handed off to another recording studio, and that really bummed me out. They had some badass voice actors, but changed it up.
I just like that one part when Vegeta meets Trunk meets Vegeta, and he goes, Vegeta's like, "What are you looking at?" And Trunks is like, "Your shirt. I like your shirt. You would." Just trying to stare down Trunks and realize it's his son yet.
Because the last episodes, me and Sarah had been watching, getting caught up on it, and the last few tournament episodes we couldn't get in English. We had to get the Japanese version, and like Goku, he sounds like a chick, like it's a really high pitched voice.
It is a woman,
but the language, the way he's talking, it's like he's a country bumpkin. He's like, "I ain't fighting you, get away from me. I ain't doing this, or I'm not about that, or that's not how I'm." I was just like, what? That doesn't how he didn't say that kind of shit in the American version,
They tried too hard, Americanized, I guess.
Or what?
But that reminds me. Before we get done, Shane, you owe Eddie a personal thank you note. Thank you letter.
Yeah,
custom thank you note.
Yeah,
I guess he heard the call. So
you ain't gonna be able to fucking read it. Shane's handwriting.
Yeah, I'd actually showed him a letter. A guy contacted. I sent him a letter, and I showed him. I was like, "Hey, guess who responded?" And they're like, "Oh, his handwriting's terrible." And I'm like, "No, that's my handwriting, guys." And they're like, "Oh."
So what Eddie's gonna get is Shane's gonna write the letter, but then he's gonna take a picture of it and send it to him through Facebook Messenger. Eddie, get a picture of a letter.
I didn't want to spend $1.50, send it to you. Here's a picture of your custom letter I wanted you to have.
In fact, it's not going to write it. He's going to type it up.
I keep thinking Shane's going to just make a heart. Just put a heart on it. Put thank you. That's it. Big beef in the middle. That's it. That's
and then Eddie sends you a picture of him wiping his ass with it.
That'd
be funny. Here's your thank you note.
Speaking of ass wiping, today I was changing Roger's diaper, and I threw the diaper like in a little bin. And Sarah's like, "You didn't wrap the diaper up." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And she's like, "Okay." And sure enough, about like 3 hours later, he's hauling ass out of the bedroom, and he's got a big old piece of shit in his hand, and he's just running that fucking shit, and like. It was a hard enough turd to where he could grip it, and it didn't go through his hands. And he's just running around with that damn thing. And like, please don't put it in your mouth, son.
I read a story about a lady that took her kids to the park, and she didn't have her husband with her. She had 3 kids, and one of her babies had pooped, and it's like the worst baby poop that you've all come across, where it's all liquidy and it gets everywhere, and it's running down their leg, and it goes up over the diaper, and you're considering throwing the baby away because you don't want to deal with this shit. Well, she was hard pressed to try to clean this baby up with all the poop, right? She didn't bring any wipes in her car because she had just cleaned her car out. And so the baby had, shit in its diaper, and it had gone down the slide and left a poop stain on the slide. And there was nobody else at the park, so she was like, okay, let me get everybody home and cleaned up, and I'll get some wipes. I'll go back to the park, and I'll clean up that shit stain because I don't want, contamination to spread to other kids who come and play. So she goes home, she does her thing, and she goes back, and there's shit everywhere. And so she goes onto the slide, and she's trying to get up the slide, but it's so slippery that she can't grab it, and she can't get to where the poop is. So she has to go up the slide, slide down it on her belly with the wipes in front of her, wiping up the poop as she goes. And she goes down, and there's a family waiting in the parking lot watching this whole thing happen. And she looks up and sees them. She's like, oh, damn, how long have they been there? And she goes to the car, and she gets everything and all the kids ready to leave. And she looks, she's got shit running all the way down her shirt.
That's how it goes.
The
All right,
shame sounds like.
Let's take us out, John. We're done.
We made it through another hour.
Hour. Break up real bad. Okay. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us again for another exciting episode of the Big Beefing Show. I am JP. You can catch me every day, but on Saturday, Sunday, that's when I'm doing my resting days. This is Aaron from Southeast Third. Checking you about poetry and the love of Waco and taking care of the community. Correct? Correct. And as always, the captain of our show, Mr. Shane Rollins.
This beer's for you.
And Shane's going to get on it right away. Right, Eddie, his personal letter.
Huh?
Shane's going to get right on that,
Yep.
First thing he's going to do.
How many drinks you had, boy?
Yep.
How many?
Your eyes, Shane, are like halfway, like, oh, he's drunk. Look at his eyes. He's gone.
Yeah, he's been drinking, boy. He's been getting it in.
How many you have?
Beer time.
I know what I'm getting. Another
All
beer.
Right,
Have a good night.
it's Miller. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to y'all a little later. Uh-oh. Dying? Am I dying?